Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope everyone's doing well. As you can see, Maggie's here with me and she will be helping with the questions. Just a quick administrative point. If you have comments, please try and put them in the chat box. And if you have specific questions, put them in the Q&A box, and that will help Maggie to differentiate between the two and answer accordingly. Okay. So I don't know if all of you have had a chance to update your program. We released an update in the last couple of weeks, both for Macintosh and Windows computers. Both of those updates are live. In retrospect, we can see now with this past week, I think there might be some computers with which the Windows update, there is a bug, and but the Mac update went smoothly and there were no issues. So I hope all of you have had a chance to update. My plan for today was to take you through the specific functionality we have added to the program in this update. But I can also start with the questions that are coming in. So there was a question about miasms and viewing the repertories in the repertorization graph miasmatically. And then Betty has a question about pasting from the Mac clipboard into the symptoms window of patient management. Okay, so let's try and do both of those things. I will share my screen and show you my program here, which I have laid out. Okay. So let's get rid of the Zoom bar. So what I will do is I will put some, let's create a clipboard so we can play around with it. And let's see here, and put some large rubrics and some small rubrics so that, okay. So I will answer the question about the miasms first. So as you can see, let me show you here. This is our clipboard. This is the repertorization graph, and you see that I have turned on miasms, and I have specifically turned on Dr. Rajan Shankaran's miasms because that's what I work with more often. You do not have to guess which miasm each remedy is in, Dr. Muhammad. If you just scroll over the miasms, it tells you here in the bottom of let me get rid of the question and answer. Okay, so when I'm here in the clipboard, you can see when I scroll over, it tells you at the bottom of the clipboard what the miasm is. And once you do this kind of often enough, you'll remember that light blue is psoric and green is psychotic, and we're back at psoric, and then yellow is cancer and red is syphilitic and the purple is acute. So I have Rajan's miasms turned on here. If you don't like those, then you can come into user preferences and you can go to clipboard settings. You can see, you can switch off miasms completely, that line in the repertory graph, or we have a couple of different, so the traditional miasms are, of course, Hahnemann's miasms. You can turn those on. You can turn Rajan Shankaran's miasms on. There's also the HFA method, and then Bjorndal. Those are the four we have here. You can turn any of those on or none. Let me know if you have a follow-up question about that. Yeah, Betty, I got you. So you want to copy these. So I would just come here hold down my shift key, do that. And then I think, Betty, you have a Mac, but you can either do a right click. If you have a Windows, you can say copy rubric. I have a Mac, so I'm just going to do, I think you can do this. You can do Control C as well. I'm going to do a Command C and then go to patient management and create new patient. And then come here, and in symptoms, either I'm doing a right click or a double tap or a control click and saying paste. And you can see that it will paste the rubrics from the clipboard. And we can do the same exact thing. Let's see if I open a Windows file, and let me do, let me do a new share. So you can see I'm here now, and I'm just going to do a Command V or a Control V in Windows, and it copies the rubrics and pastes the rubrics as you wish them in a patient chart outside of the program, or a patient chart within the program, or an article you're writing, or whatever. So it should work smoothly. There should not be any issues about a copy and paste. Let me go back to the program. The only time a copy and paste may not work as well is when you are actually, let me close this window. Oh, yes. Sorry, I hit accidentally no. Is the only time that's not going to work as well is actually if you are in the reference library, and you try and copy and paste reference some content from a book or a journal. And if we have copyright issues, or the author has forbidden us from doing copy and paste, which some authors have, then that will not work, because we have to put those limits in. And so that's the only time it will not work. Okay. From Word. From Word. Okay, so let's try and do that. I usually never do that, but what I will do is I will go back to that page that I had, and I have copied those rubrics exactly from the page that I pasted them on. And now I'm going to come back here in the program, which you can see, and open this new clipboard, and I will try and see if I can paste them. So it does paste them. Betty, can you try this? Of course, if there is a slightest difference in the formatting of the rubric, even like a space or a semicolon, you know this already, right? So I copied and pasted from here onto the Word document. And then from the Word document, I copied and pasted back into a new clipboard. So there was no misarrangement of any of the rubrics in any way. And when I do that, they do paste back into a clipboard and will create that clipboard again. So try that. But the caveat, of course, is that those rubrics, the way that they are exactly as they would appear in the repertory, that there has been no accidental deletion of a space or a comma or a colon. Because if that is there, then the program will not be able to match that exact rubric to the rubric in the repertory. And it might paste it, but then it will not be able to pull up that rubric and not create the chart the way that you want it to. And since I still have my copy paste active, we can try and see if I can also copy and paste from Word or an email, as you said. Command C, and I'm doing this offline, in that document, so I don't have to keep doing new shit each time. And I'm going to try and come here and say paste. So it pasted also from my Word document into a new patient chart within the program. So it does work. Just try it and then let me know if it, whether it worked for you or not. So let's minimize this. Let's close the second clipboard. Dr. Muhammad is asking if I can repeat what I did to show the miasm line. So in order to turn your miasm line on in the repertory graph, you have to go to user preferences. And in user preferences, you will come 1, 2, 3 down to clipboard settings. And you will basically toggle this on or off. When you toggle it on, the line showing your options for which miasms you want turned on is here. Unfortunately, you can't turn on multiple miasm definitions, because the program can only order the remedies according to one person in the same graph. So you can turn on any of these that you like. I have Rajan's miasms turned on. When you have this turned on, for every graph, you will see that line here. And as you scroll through the tiles of that line, it will tell you what miasm that remedy is in. I hope that's helpful. Let me know if you didn't understand or if I misunderstood the question. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I did that. Okay, I mean into the notes. Yes, so I showed that. Can you do this with keystrokes? I did do it with keystrokes. Oh, I didn't do the paste with keystrokes. I did the paste with a right click or a control click. So if you want, we can try that again. So you want to take it from their email or Word file into the patient chart with keystrokes. So I'm going to try that. So I'm coming back to my Word document. I'm doing a Command C, and I'm coming in here, and I'm going to do a Command V. And yes, it does not work with keystrokes, but it does work with the right click or the control click or a double tap. So the built-in menu for paste, it does work with that. Okay. So are there any other questions? Those were the 2 questions and clarifications. Yeah, that's right, Betty. Okay. So let me show you the few things that we have added to the program with this update. And I'm going to close this here. Let's close the user preferences. And we can leave this open. So let me know if the font size or the view is big enough for you. I made it bigger than I usually have it on my machine, so I hope you all can see it clearly. So the first thing that I want to show you that is now available is if you are used to working with cross-references or only turn them on once in a while, and I'm only turning them on for this from inside the sleep chapter. So if I open other chapters, it will not open because I used my view settings from inside the chapter. The thing that we have added is that now with cross-references, you can see the remedy count for the cross-reference. Earlier, the cross-references did not have remedy counts attached to them. And so, you would pick up cross-references, but here, for example, dreams none, maybe it wasn't a viable rubric because it was either very tiny or very, very large. And so now, before you pick up a cross-reference, you can see the number of remedies in the cross-reference. And that gives you some idea of whether you want to use that cross-reference or not. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that it is now possible to filter for rubrics by remedy or by kingdom using a grade as well. So this is something that I personally used to miss a lot from Mech Repertory. And now this is possible both on the repertory side of the program, as well as if you are filtering through global search. So let me show you when you come, for example, if you want to filter in the repertory for a specific remedy, you're studying for that remedy, and you can just come up here and you can see that in the filter box now, we have the addition of grade, and you can select a certain grade. Like, so if you, I mean, in general, I really only want to see grade 4 rubrics and higher. So, you know, you can pick, let's say you pick a remedy and let's pick something that will have a lot of grade 4 rubrics. Okay, so you can see now the filter button is on. And because I did it from outside the chapter, from the repertory module, the filter will now apply to every single chapter in every single repertory. And you can see the chapter that was open, that filter button turned on as well. And then I'm going to say grade 4 and grade 5, because I mean, there's 1 or 2 repertories that have that, but really it's a grade 4, and say apply. And then let's not choose the mind section. Let's try vertigo and see. So you can see now, oh, I should also turn this on. And you can see that the rubrics in which lachesis is a grade 4 are bolded, and the others are all grayed out. So you can scroll through and see all of the rubrics in which lachesis appears as a grade 4 remedy in this chapter. And so, you know, if you're studying, or if you just want to look at the grade 4 or grade specific rubrics for a grouping or a remedy, you can now do that. And similarly, so let me close this and turn the filter off. You can also filter here when you type a search. Let me take this out. When you type a search, the same thing will happen here. You can filter by grade for specific rubrics or specific searches, and it will filter by grade. And then the same thing will happen here as well in the first 3. So if you search remedies and you go to the filter, you can just see, let me show you. Instead of doing it in the repertory, you can just type lachesis, and then we're going to look at grade and say grade 4 and say apply. And now we're looking for all the grade 4 rubrics for lachesis. And let's choose a slightly smaller repertory. And instead of all sections, and we did the vertigo the last time, so let's do head, which is still a bigger chapter, but you know, and then we have the search set up, and I'm going to click on search. And now, instead of in the repertory module where you see all of the rubrics, here you will only see the rubrics that are in that lachesis is a grade 4 in. So this searching by grade is now been added to anywhere that there is a filter possible. Okay, I saw there was a lot of activity in the Q&A box. Okay. So,
sorry, Talia, I'm back now. Sorry about that, but I'm just not sure what ones you've answered.
So I've answered, I think I've answered all of these actually. symptoms window. Yes, yes, yes. We did all that. Yeah. So these are all answered. Okay. So that is the second enhancement or addition of functionality. Let me know, please, in the Q&A box, and Maggie's back, if you have any questions about how to filter for grade in the different parts of the program. I'm going to minimize that. And then the next thing I want to show you is when you come here, as you can see in my program, I have the visionary library and I have a lot of repertories. Also the ones, that I bought as a student way back and later on when I started practicing. So I have some really old repertories as well, the complete specifically from 2005. So, sometimes, and I mean, most of the time, people have their favorite repertories or they work with the latest repertory. In this case, I've pinned mine to the top, but I still have a lot here. And if you decide that you really don't like scrolling through and there are a lot of repertories you have here that you don't ever use, you have two options. One is obviously to delete them from the program. You can do that and you will free up space also because the repertories take up a lot of space depending on the size of the repertory. But then if you had ever used that repertory in the past and you have saved cases with rubrics from that repertory, you delete the repertory, then you'll not be able to open that repertorization chart again because the program doesn't have that repertory anymore from which you chose those rubrics. So what we have introduced, though, is a way where you don't have to see those repertories, but they're still there in the program. And so that way you can pull up your old patient charts. And so in order to do that, you will come here again, back into user preferences, down to repertory settings. And now you can see that there is a new tab here that says show hide repertory from the system. You can hide your repertories that you don't want to see. And then if you change your mind, you can bring them back by using this same button. So when I click on it, it gives me a list of all my repertories. You can see the 2005, 11, 17 are all here. And I can click on any of these. So let me show you. Let's do Clark and color. And let's do Boninghausen innominate. And now I have chosen to hide these three repertories. So say save, and the program will reload. And do I want to restore them? Yes, we'll bring my clipboards back. And now if I come here and I go down, you can see in order of here. So this is where the alphabetical order starts. And you can see that the Boninghausen innominate is gone. And both the C repertories, Color and Clark, are also gone. And I don't see them anymore. But I could come back here to user preferences, come back to repertory settings, say show hide repertory. And my three that I hid are here. So you don't have to remember which ones you hid because they will show up. And you can just uncheck them. Click on save. The program will load again. And I will say yes. And you can see now I will scroll back and you can see my Color and my Clark are back. So this is a nice feature just to temporarily hide your remedies. They won't come back. If you shut down your program and restart up again the next day, they won't come back. They won't come back till you want them back, but it will hide all the repertories you never use and just, make it more manageable here in your repertory module. Okay. And again, if you have questions, just please put them in the Q&A box. Okay, so another functionality that we added is actually in the clipboard and in the repertorization chart. So let's come here. And this actually was prompted by a few users writing in to say, is it possible, for example, let's say the case hasn't changed and you still have the same rubrics, but the remedies you've given already haven't worked. And so you want to try other remedies that are coming up, or, look at it differently. So the question was, is it possible to only see the remedies that I want to see here and not see the ones that I have, for example, prescribed already and know already that they haven't worked? So you would have your repetization, and you would just choose any remedy, and you would do a right click. And then you would say, you have different, obviously you have the choice to limit the repetization in many ways, but you're going to come to this last new addition to this menu, which is limit view to multiple remedies. When you click on this, I'm going to make the window bigger. You can see that actually what I see here are the remedies from my repetization in the order of the repetization. And usually we tend to consider the first 10 or the first 15, unless you're working in groupings and you're looking at, specific plant or animal or mineral groupings. But in general, people tend to see which are the remedies that floated up to the top. And if you have already prescribed certain ones, let's say you only want, to see, I don't know, the mild, or some of the sort of milder remedy, or you've already tried doing some of these, and then you want to just limit your repetization to these. You can choose the remedies you want to limit your repetization to, and hit apply. And now you will only see the remedies that you really want to compare. So you can choose as many or as few of those remedies as you want. And so it will apply that filter, and it will just give you the how the chart plays out for those selected remedies. Okay. So that's a nice feature. You can also, obviously, you can see here that there are a couple other features. You can limit the view to a single remedy, or you can limit the view to a remedy's grouping or family. But this is a nice one also, to choose, like, the remedies that you're considering, and just limit the view and see how things play out for those few remedies. Okay. Finally, let's see, there are a couple of smaller new things. One is, if you were earlier, if you are here, if you wanted to copy a rubric and paste it into, let's say, another program outside of SHS, if you were pasting it in Word, for example, and I used to have this a lot, also especially here, even if my remedy view was not activated and I just had my rubrics here, and I wanted to paste these rubrics within a Word document, the rubrics would not paste without the remedies. And I can't show you that now because obviously that has been corrected and I'm on the updated program. But if I actually copied and pasted sleep disturbed into a Word document without the remedies showing, it would still pick up all of those 564 remedies. And when I pasted the rubric, it would actually paste all 564 remedies. It was not possible in the earlier version of the program to just do the rubric. And now, as you can see, when I paste it in the patient chart, you can see that the rubrics actually can be copied and pasted without the remedies coming through, which is, I think, a great help, because having to delete 564 remedies from the Word document used to be very tedious. So now you can copy and paste rubrics from your clipboard or from the repertory section into another document, a text document without the remedies coming through. And then finally, here is another small change, which is, so let's say, we always do this, and I'll run the search so you know. So if you have done searches in global search, generally, and you want to refine that search or do another search, when you would come back here, you would have to either delete the search by using the delete or the backspace key in your keyboard, which used to be tedious. And many people would not actually just use the X here. But now what you do is when you come back here, it highlights your previous search. And if you want to modify it, of course, you can click it again and it will turn it into a cursor. But if you want to actually type a new search, then it will just override your old search. And I'll run that, let's say. And now when I go back, you see it just copied, it just highlights your old search, so you can override it if you want. If you want to modify it, then you can click again, and it will turn it into a cursor, and then you can just, delete back. So let me see, I think those are...
Sorry, on that, Betty is just asking, can you also copy and paste with the remedies into the Word document?
Yes, it should be possible. So here, so the remedies show up here. I'm going to say Command C. You can see it says rubric copied. Let me try. I have not tried. And I'll do a new share to my Word document. This is the Word document that I've been using for copy and paste. Let's try and see. So, if your remedies are on, then it will pick up the remedies. And if your remedies are off, then it will not pick up the remedies. And earlier, it would pick up the remedies regardless of whether your remedies were turned on or off. So, and I just, this time I just did keyboard, Betty. So it's, Command C and Command V. So yes, it will pick up remedies if you want them, and you just have to make sure they're turned on so that it is picking them up in the copy command. Okay. So let's see, the rest of the changes in this update were all generally bug fixes. The printing was improved. There used to be a redundant save message that would come when you saved your patient chart. That has been taken away. And the saved clipboards will close with the closed. For me, they always closed, but I guess they didn't consistently close when you close the chart. So that happens now. The analysis strategies were refined, and there was a bug in one of them. So the prominence strategy has been refined, the small rubric strategy has been refined, and the rubrics considering intensity strategy had a bug in it, which has been corrected. The other thing, let's actually also show you this. So earlier, if you had two different clipboards and you tried to compare them, the remedies did not show up correctly. And so that bug has been also corrected, and you can see now they show up in the order that they are in the repertorization. So this bug has also been corrected. And let's see. Earlier, there was a bug where if you had combined rubrics in the patient clipboard and you assigned a grade to the combined rubric, that would not show up clearly. And also when you saved that patient chart, that affected, I think, the grade of the combined rubric. So those things have been corrected. And there were some small things in terms of alphabetization of rubrics and chapter orders, etc., that has also been corrected. So those are the actual specific changes within this last update. And I encourage you all to update your programs.
Polly, we're still showing the Word document, but I think you're just reading from
Oh, yeah. I'm just reading from it. So let's go back to the program. I don't know, are there any other questions?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Does anybody want to share what kinds of things they have been doing within the program? And perhaps I can give an idea.
Yves is asking if you could show again how to paste with or without remedies. If you could
Sure.
just
Yeah. Okay, so let me clean up my my desktop so I can just share my entire desktop without having to pick and choose the documents. Okay, so new share, and I'll share my desktop. Okay, so here is our Word document, and here is the program. So you can see right now, I'm going to delete this because I really don't want 564 remedies. Okay, so you can see right now, the remedy view is not turned on. And so all I see is the repertory, the rubric, and the remedy count. Now, if I copy, and I'm using my keyboard, I'm not using the program commands. So Command C, you can see it still says rubric copied, and then I'm coming here. Yeah, and I'm doing Command V. It is pasting just as it is here, repertory, rubric, and remedy count. But now if I go in here and I say all remedies, so it actually showing the remedies. My understanding is that if you now, and I'm going to do Shift, let's see, let's hold down Command here. Now I've highlighted all three rubrics with the remedies. I'm going to do Command C, and it says rubric copied. My understanding is now, based on what we did here from the global search, if I come back here and I do Command V, you can see that the rubrics actually pasted with the remedies. So the difference, Eve, is that if your remedies are showing and you do a copy and paste, the remedies will carry over. And if your remedies are not showing, then your rubrics will copy and paste without the remedies. So it really depends what kind of information you want. The other thing I want to tell you is that for the complete, if any of you are using the complete, the rubrics and the remedies will copy and paste from only within the clipboard, because that is your patient, that's your analysis, that's what homeopaths and students generally need, is from the patient analysis. So if you are using the complete, remember to copy and paste from the clipboard. If you try and come here and if you try and copy and paste, oh, let me check this. This should not happen. He does not want people copying and pasting from the repertory module, actually. So let's see.
He being the author.
Yes, Roger, yes. So I'm going to try and see if I can do. Yeah, this should not happen. So this, I will let the technical team know that. Yeah. Okay. So there is an issue here. Let me try with the 23. Yeah, there is an issue here. Okay. So in general, though, I mean, this will get corrected, but you are not able to copy and paste from the complete. And like I said earlier, there are certain other authors who do not want their material copied and pasted. And that's the only time you will run into issues. But with the rubrics with remedies, will copy and paste with remedies. Rubrics without remedies will copy and paste without remedies. Okay. Other questions?
Yes, there's a question from Chris saying you also mentioned comparing clipboards,
Right.
that feature was updated. And
Yeah.
show that.
You want to see how to compare.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me turn this clipboard back to, no, yeah. Okay, so I mean, let's see. In general, I mean, you know, you compare clipboards because you've done maybe mentals on one clipboard and physicals on the other, or there's a lot of physicals and you've broken them up by organ systems, or, you know, and you want to then compare and see which remedies show up for different aspects of the case. So in this case, let me get rid of the mind rubrics from one clipboard and delete the physical. So now you can see, I'm going to make the clipboard slightly smaller because they're a little unwieldy. Okay. So here you can see we have two clipboards here with different set of rubrics and remedies, obviously. And let's pretend that they're for the same patient. You can obviously compare them like this, but it's not as easy. I mean, you can see Nux is coming up for both of them as a number 2, but the easier way to do it was, you can see these are your two clipboards here on the left, and up here is the sort of master clipboard. So what you're going to do is a right click on Windows or a control click on your Mac. And I have it set up for a double tap, which is why I sometimes say double tap. But when I do that, you can see your two clipboards, and you might have others, but let's say we want to compare clipboard 1 versus clipboard 2. Then I'm going to just come here, select them, and say compare. And now you can see that the clipboards sort of side by side on the same page, and it's a little bit easier to compare. And you can see that Nux is coming up as number 2 for both. You can see the top 5 or 10 remedies, and you can do the same thing over here. So this is a compare clipboard feature. And if you, I mean, you can compare as many, let's say you had 5 clipboards open for the same patient, you can compare all 5, or you can compare 2 or 3 at a time. And it just lets you see the information side by side on the different clipboards. So that is the compare clipboard feature. If you have done a different group of rubrics on one clipboard versus the other, then another feature here that is very nice is to actually then merge them. And what it will do is it will create a new merge clipboard that is labeled M. And when you hover over it, it will say merged. And it will tell you which ones have been merged, 1 and 2. And then you can actually open that clipboard, and you can have all of your rubrics in that one clipboard. And then you can see which remedy comes up strongest. And so, I mean, obviously Nux will come up because it was number 2 on both. But that, you know, this as a way to compare clipboards, this works because I only have 2. But, you know, if you really wanted to compare one aspect of the case and which remedies are coming up with a separate aspect of the case, then that compare feature is really nice.
Karen is saying, could you just show the merging again, how you merged?
Yes, it's the same way. So let's go here. And, you know, you can always also just do a right click here on top of the clipboard and delete clipboards if you want. So I deleted the merged clipboard. So this is your master clipboard that controls all the clipboards. So you're going to come up here and you're going, if you just click it, if you do a regular click, it will open up a third clipboard. So you know, you can do that. If you want to open more clipboards, you just do a click. But if you want to go to the features to control the different clipboards, you will do a right click or a control click. So a right click on Windows and a control click on the Mac. When you do that, it will show all your clipboards that you have open at any given time. And from here, you can choose to delete clipboards, merge clipboards, or compare clipboards. So right now, I want to just merge 1 and 2 because 3 and 4 are empty, but let's say 3 and 4 were another patient. Then I want to merge these two. I'm going to check them and I'm going to click merge. And when I do that, it creates a different clipboard. So it doesn't mess with my clipboard 1 and 2. It leaves them as they are, and it creates a third clipboard, which says merged. When I click on that merged clipboard, all of my rubrics from clipboard 1 and 2 are in this merged clipboard. And you can see it's called merged up here as well. If I named my 2 clipboards, clipboard 1 and 2, which I can, right? So let's say I go up here, I just click in, you know, the name of it, and I call this physical. And then I go to my other clipboard and I call this mental. And let's say I actually had a name, a patient name as well. Then when I go and I remerge, it will actually, so let me show you that. Yeah, so I would have to delete this one and say yes. So let's say you had actually named clipboards, and then you go back in here, and now your clipboards will show up as names, the names that you gave them. And you'll say, I want to merge my mentals and my physicals clipboard. And I'll say merge. And now again, I've got merge, but now you see it says merged mentals and physicals. When I open it, it says merged and it puts the names of your clipboards. So you can really definitely customize your clipboards with names, etc. as well. And it will, and then when you save this as a patient chart, it will save with the named clipboards as well. Good. I hope that's helpful. Anything else pop up, Maggie?
No,
In terms of questions?
No.
Okay. Well, so I mean, I'm happy to stop here unless somebody has some last minute thoughts. If not, have fun with the program, use the program. The more you use it, the more fun it becomes and the more you'll get out of it and the more you'll be able to help your patients. So also you can write us directly if you have questions, and we'll answer you and help you out of whatever issue you're having at that moment. Wish you all a happy week.
Sorry, Rupali.
Yeah. Okay, there's a last minute question. Come on.
Yeah, Betty
Yeah.
is just asking, is everything alphabetized in alphabetical order now? I'm not quite sure what section.
She's specifically referring to something. Everything that I mean, as far as I know, everything is in alphabetical order or should show up in alphabetical order.
Is there a specific area, Betty? Some repertories suggest that.
Yes, so that I think is almost ready. Didn't Massimo have a big seminar today? I think it was today or yesterday, and everything was updated for him. The only thing yes, the alphabetical order. That's a good question. I think that was a bigger repertorizing issue, a bigger repertory fixing issue. I know from the last technical update, Betty, that I got for Suggesta, there were 3 icons in the repertory icons that were, I mean, I have the old version, obviously. I don't have version 2, but in version 2, there were 3 icons that were not showing up properly for Massimo in time for his big seminar. And I don't remember what Paresh said about the alphabetical order, because I know right now the order is in the order that in which he gave it, and it's not. I think he wanted to put in the order of the Kent repertory. It wasn't alphabetical. I think it was the Kent repertory. He wanted to do, location, sensation, modality, extension, sort of that Kent order. He wanted to put it in Kentian order. And currently they are actually all alphabetical. I think it's the other way around. But I've been in touch with Massimo, and I know Paresh has been in touch with him as well. So they're definitely figuring those things out, whichever order he wanted. So sorry, that's not more clear.
Was it only a problem for Suggesta?
That was only a specific problem in terms of the ordering of rubrics for Suggesta. My understanding is that they were given in version 1 in alphabetical order, and now Massimo is wants to put them in that same order that the Kent repertory and other repertories based on the Kent repertory follow, which is side. I mean, I can't remember it exactly, but side, location, sensation, modality, extension, something like that. So I think he wants to redo in version 2. He wants to do it that way. And that, I think, I don't know. I don't believe we were able to do that in time for his big seminar this week. So, but that work is being done. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Okay, so I will stop share. Wish you all a wonderful weekend, and also happy holidays, which are coming up regardless of what you celebrate. Happy New Year, and we will see you all in January. Take care. Goodbye.